Alright, now that we got that joke out of the way, that wasn't even a stupider joke. But I was not gonna let you see my food calendar. And by food calendar, I mean this is a calendar that has recipes on it. It's my calendar, not yours. Although, one day I want to make a monkey calendar. But then it'd be sad, because February would look so sad. But then again, so would December. Now, the real question is, what am I gonna make a video about today? I was saving this movie for a movie review, but today's the day the movie came out, and I've read the book 41 times. So maybe it's time I finally discussed Into the Wild. Into the Wild is an emotional roller coaster of a movie. It's about Chris McCandless, a young man who, after graduating college, decided to run off to go to Alaska, only to tragically die there. The movie was made by Sean Penn, which, I gotta give him credit where credit's due. This is a very good directorial debut. I think it's mainly because Sean Penn got Eddie Vedder to write the soundtrack for the movie, which is the song you're hearing right now. I gotta give credit where credit's due. Eddie Vedder is an amazing songwriter and an amazing singer. I found myself being enchanted by the music of the movie as I watched it. It was truly an emotional experience.
Come closer or I'll have to go. Holding me like gravity are places that
The book came out in 1996 and the movie came out in 2007 of, this day. So, I have, one complaint about, the movie. I love the movie, alright? Don't get me wrong. This is an amazing movie, and I think Emile Hirsch should have won an award for this, because I've never seen someone commit to a role as much as he has. Christian Bale has, sure, but I've never seen this much commitment to a movie in my life. And, by the way, great screenplay by Sean Penn. I never thought I'd see a good screenplay or a good directorial debut from an actor before in my life. But if I had one complaint, the movie's 2 hours, but it doesn't really feel like 2 hours. It's also rated R, but only for some language and some nudity, which, I guess that's okay, but not, it's something, I guess. The movie tends to leave some parts out of the book. There's some things in the movie that are cut that weren't in the book, and I would know. I read this book 41 times. I'm not even kidding. I first found this in my library, and I was like, what is this? Because, in my library in my school, when I was in school, they had this as the cover for the book, so, imagine, seeing this, and you're like, oh, what is this? And I was immediately captured into the book. Granted, I already knew, what was happening in the book, and the anticipation of seeing what happens is very heartbreaking. It's not a spoiler, but because Chris McCandless is dead. But when you read his journey, you feel like you're there, and when you see the end of it, you feel just so heartbroken, because, it really is sad, He had an amazing adventure, and it had to come to an end because of one simple fatal mistake, which was eating potato seeds, which I'm going to never, ever even... I'm scared now, potato seeds. That's not even a joke. I'm legit terrified now. I don't want to ever get poisoned like that. But to be fair, that was also because, Chris was very, stubborn, I guess, but also, didn't think things through. He had a whole book about stuff like this, but anyways, we're not talking about that. We're talking about how amazing the movie is. The movie has only, I would say 3 famous people in it, which is exactly what it needs. It does not need so many famous people. It only needs, 3. It has, Vince Vaughn, Emile Hirsch, and Kristen Stewart. I don't remember Kristen Stewart's character being in the book, so I think that part of the movie was made up. See what I mean when I say that certain parts of the movie never happened in the book? Like, the book is real life stuff, and this never happened in the movie. You know what I mean? Most things in here did happen in the book, though. I will give credit where credit's due. That did happen. The one thing I don't appreciate, though, is the fact that the movie completely glossed over Chris's life. Because Chris had an interesting childhood, and that is never shown in the movie. Which, hence, it shouldn't have been 2 hours. I would say 3 hours at best. Or maybe a series. Although, I don't know if that would have been a good idea to do that. So I think a movie would have been better, but even then, 2 hours was not enough for the movie. I would say 3 hours. 3 hours is the perfect amount of time for a movie like this, especially when you learn about stuff like that. Because keep in mind, people who have read the book said the movie was a bit okay because it wasn't completely accurate to the book, and I can completely understand that because I read the book and then I watched the movie, and then I read the book and then watched the movie again to really get a grasp on, trying to understand what people were seeing. And yeah, I can see it. There are some mistakes, but at the end of the day, at least, it got adapted into a movie so that we can all talk about it and then, read the book and be like, wow, this is a really tragic story. I wish it didn't have to end this way. And then you realize, oh, this is real life. Like, these things happened. I do highly recommend, watching this movie. What I recommend you do is I want you to buy the book. I want you to buy the movie. But more importantly, I want you to buy the soundtrack for the movie. Because like I said before in the beginning of the video, Eddie Vedder does an amazing job with the songs. I know. Someone else did the soundtrack. It was, Michael Brook and Kaki King. But Eddie Vedder really knows how to get you with the music. At the end of the movie, I cried. I mean, of course I cried because it was so sad, but the music really got to me. It was so emotional, and I felt so upset. I couldn't even for a whole week. It really is, so tragic. By the way, you can't go see the bus anymore. The bus is real. I don't know if any of you knew that, but they had to move the bus to a university because everyone kept trying to go to it, and some people did actually die trying to get to the bus, so they had to airlift it and then move it somewhere else. So it's still in Alaska. It's just in a university somewhere. They said they were gonna open like a display for it, which is, okay, but like, bit weird. I would say just a little bit, just a little bit weird. Only slightly a little bit strange, but I'm not judging at all. Before I end this video, I'd also like to recommend you buy the picture book that they have. Chris McCandless did take some pictures of his journey, so there's a book on Amazon of all the pictures he took and stuff like that. So I would also recommend buying that. So there's a lot of things you should probably buy if you want to get invested in this. The book, the other book, the movie, the soundtrack for the movie, and that's basically it. Chris's sister wrote a book, but I haven't read it yet, and I know some people were like low-key upset with her book or something like that, but again, I'm not gonna get involved with that, I already wasted my money on these. Not wasted, I invested my money in these, because this book only costs $15, and I don't remember how much this movie cost, because I bought it off of Amazon. Fuck, this movie really got me, bro. It was such a, oh my god. It was so good. Holy shit, and the book. I can't believe I read it 41 times. There's either something wrong with me, or it was just that good.